Let's talk about how to take care of poinsettias now. We'll take a look at things like light and water and fertilizer and temperatures. In terms of light, it's real simple. Poinsettias are highlight plants. They can actually last a really long time if you put them in a window with direct sunlight. But typically we don't have that situation, and so if you only have, lower light, they're not near a window, they'll only last just like any other bloomer. They might last 2, 4 weeks, maybe a little bit longer than that, but that's about it unless they're near a window. In terms of temperatures, just an easy way to remember it, poinsettias are comfortable with temperatures that we like. So if you feel hot, it's too hot for the poinsettia. If you feel cold, it's too cold for the poinsettia. So 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 to 23 degrees Celsius. And this becomes really important, especially when you're transporting poinsettias. If they're in a vehicle that's really hot or really cold, that can easily damage those poinsettias and possibly kill them. So make sure your vehicles don't get too hot, too cold. Next up, let's talk about watering, and this is the most difficult part with poinsettias, is making sure you keep enough moisture. If you've ever taken care of poinsettias, you know that they can turn on you very quickly. Sometimes in just a matter of an hour or so, they can start wilting and drooping, and the leaves get all dry and crunchy. It's very similar to other plants that have delicate leaves, plants like ferns and spathiphyllums. When you have plants that have really soft, delicate leaves, and in the case of poinsettias, really large, delicate leaves, they'll pull up water out of that soil, and they will pull up lots of water. It'll go out to all those leaves in the plant, and because they're so thin and delicate, they can't hold on to that water. So that water goes out of those leaves very, very quickly. And so in that regard, poinsettias use a lot of water. And now you might wonder, how much water is my poinsettia going to use? It does depend on different factors. If you have really bright light or warmer temperatures or poinsettias with lots and lots of leaves, they're going to use lots and lots of water. And in those situations, you want to make sure that you have plenty of water so that plant doesn't turn on you. Um, on the opposite side, if you have conditions that are really dark or temperatures are cooler or you don't have as many leaves on the poinsettia plant, it's not going to use as much water as the previous poinsettia. Poinsettias do not like sitting in water. The roots are sensitive to sitting in saturated soils and water. So that's the flip side. You want to make sure it doesn't get too wet down there. And really, if you're watering them and you only get to see those poinsettias maybe every week or every other week, you have to use some type of sub-irrigation to keep up with them. Aquifer discs are probably the most practical thing that you can use with poinsettias. They're very easy to install. They kind of look and they're about the size of a pancake, and you can stack them up in the saucer, and those aquifer discs are going to hold on to that water and slowly release it to that plant. So you can afford to have that extra water down there in the saucer with these things. Same thing if you want to use capillary mats. Same deal, that they work the same way as an aquifer disc, and also the oasis discs. You can use those as well, so that you can put plenty of water down in those saucers. You have that reservoir, and it doesn't flood that soil with too much water. There's also a wetting agent called AquaGrow or Cymatric. Sometimes we call it Cymatric. That is something that helps the soil hold on to water for longer periods of time. That can be really helpful as well. So definitely, I would really recommend you try those different things, see what works best for your situation, and definitely get one of those to work for you. The final thing I'll mention is fertilizer. So to make something easier for you, I'll just say don't worry about fertilizer when it comes to poinsettias. If you happen to fertilize them, that's totally fine. But if you don't worry about it. These are just blooming rotations. They're only going to be there for a couple weeks. Don't worry about that.